people who are involved in the philosophical practice may have the problem to confront the other. So let's talk a bit about this difficulty, which is the lack of confrontation. There could be many reasons why you have this kind of difficulty, and one of them is the fear of the other. So if that's your case, it means that otherness is something unpredictable, which means something you cannot control, which means something dangerous. So if you see the other person as something dangerous, of course, you're gonna have this fear, and this fear could be a problem in the process of the consultation. So what can you do in order to get rid of this kind of fear? In this case, I would suggest you to think a bit about this paradoxical problem, because often when you fight is a consequence of a fear. So if you have a fear of fighting, it means that likely you're gonna have a fight. You should not have any fear. So yeah, try to be wooden roosters in that case. I don't know if you have any idea about this Taoistic tale which speaks about the wooden rooster. Wooden rooster is the rooster who is ready to fight, but it doesn't need to fight because it's strong and it doesn't have any fear. It doesn't react anymore from provocation coming from outside. So I would suggest you to try to be a bit a wooden rooster, and Plato would say try to be dead in order to think. Which means that once you don't have fears or desires, you wouldn't have anything to defend. In that case, you are more available in the experience and you're gonna confront the other more easily. When you are afraid to the other, it could be also because you are afraid to let other people down, other expectations down. And in this case, I would suggest you not to be worried about helping. Just try to enjoy more the process. Try to focus on the pleasure of consulting, of questioning, and of thinking with the other. Be curious, and in that case, you're gonna have less fear, and you could have the chance to confront more the other. But on the other side, you could have opposite fear, which is not the fear to be hurt from the other, but the fear of hurting the other person. In this case, I would suggest you to accept the fact that you cannot control the consequence of your actions have on the other person. At the same time, I would suggest you to think that you are not that important, that powerful, that you can influence so much another human life and create so much, let's say, pain in other people's life. Maybe it could be helpful also to think that everyone makes his own choice. And if the other person is there with you, even if it could be a bit painful sometimes, he chooses to be there. So you are not responsible for the pain you may create during the consultation. And if it doesn't work, the last advice I could give you in this case is to think that even pain sometimes can be useful or worthy. It can bring something good. Sometimes it's also necessary, especially during some process that invites you to reconcile with your own limits and with yourself, and that pushes to know a bit better yourself. And a last fear that you could have in the consultation could be the fear of judging the other, which can be also another different way to be afraid to hurt the other. Yeah, in this case, I would suggest you to try to go out a bit from the moral scheme, because if you are afraid to judge, you think that judgment can bring some pain to the other person, it's probable that you are stuck in a moral vision, moral worldview. So I would suggest you in that case to try to see the consultation from another point of view, which for example could be the aesthetic one. So for example, when you are looking at a picture, you can make some judgments, and that's not moral anymore. It's more aesthetic, or for example, more intellectual. So try to see the judgment as a tool tool in order to describe something and not as a way to judge in a moral way the other person. In general, I would suggest you to be more relaxed and to enjoy more the process, and in that case all the fears would be less problematic for you, and in that case it would be easier to confront the other.